Hey guys, I'm here at the Ponchatoula Fitness Center here in Ponchatoula, Louisiana. I'm here with the owner, Holden Merritt. Gonna get a little bit of talk around just this gym, what it means to him, and maybe highlight some of the pretty notable members here at the gym. So Holden, thank you for taking the time, brother. It's good to meet you.
Thank you, man. Really glad to be here. Thank you for coming and for letting me showcase things that I love. I love this gym. I love this city, and I'm very happy to talk about it with you today.
Absolutely, man. So we're excited for this. So obviously, this gym has been open, like we mentioned before, for over 50 years around the Ponchatoula area. So if you guys are looking for a place to work out, this is about 15 minutes away from Southeastern. Pretty easy to commute. You just take the interstate, go around, and you're pretty much here. So talk to me about just the overall history of this gym and what it's been like and how the evolution has been over the last 50 years.
Of course. So 1980, Michael Turnion, the owner, he opened the place up down the street. It was originally a bodybuilding powerlifting gym. At the time, he was bodybuilding, and so all of his friends would just come, lift heavy. The same core things that we do now, he did then. So metal weights, you're allowed to slam things if you want to. But eventually he got too big, so he opened up a second location and closed the first, a bigger space. And so he was there for about 10 years, and the third location, which is where we are now, was opened in about the late 2000s. So we've been here for about 15, 20 years in this location. People know it. People come to expect something from us, and we're happy to deliver. It's changed a lot, though, from the original statement, but it came back to it. So it was bodybuilding and fitness, but then as Mike got older, his friend got older, too. So Mike started out with guys like us, 21, 23, we're bodybuilding, but 40 years from now, we'll be in our 60s. So a lot of Mike's friends that joined originally, who never left, they're in their 60s now. So they're not powerlifting or bodybuilding per se the way they were. So the gym shifted from more of a bodybuilding, powerlifting focus to more of a, like, we offer these free senior citizen classes that are fantastic. We offer all the insurances for free so they can come for free. It shifted more towards that. It was still bodybuilding, but it was also a lot of seniors as well. But now with me owning it, I'm looking to bring it back to what I think the point of the gym was originally, which is bodybuilding, powerlifting, and people who want to get more fit.
Right on. That's awesome, man. I mean, I think that should be the ultimate goal of any gym. Is
I agree.
Just, reserve it for all, but at the same time, create a focus to where any other gym, especially your local gyms, forget the commercial gyms and all that, that has a special focus, especially when it comes to really in the bodybuilding landscape and those that are wanting to pursue a career in that field as well.
I couldn't agree more. Having a niche and having things that you can market and promote for a certain audience, so that audience feels like they belong there. Everybody belongs here, but if you're a bodybuilder or a powerlifter or you just want to get in the best shape of your life, you do belong here, and that's important for people to know.
That's awesome, man. I mean, I think that's very important. So you've had a lot of, or I should say, well, you as well, but this gym has had a lot of notable members come in here and obviously work out. Can you just name off just a couple that you've gotten to either see or what Mike has been able to see in the 50 plus years that you've
This is the main thing I want to talk about. Is it's not about me, it's about the community and the people that have come here that have given their lives to the sport and to this gym. The most notable is Donald Burton. If you go on YouTube and look him up, Donald Burton, you'll see videos of him in the 90s, early 2000s in this gym, just shredded, posing, hitting poses on the gym floor in his trunks and things like that. And he was here for 20, 30, 40 years. A lot of the guys like that have been here for 30, 40 years. But now we have current guys like Scott Hickey, Leandro Dixon, we have Owen Grow, we have Richard DeBerry, we have Hunter Fonts. We have a lot of really good young, under 30 guys that are coming up that are trying to go pro and make a name for themselves.
Right.
Mike certainly has had hundreds come through here, but Lacey Pruitt, the bodybuilding coach, she brought 50 of her athletes here, and I was able to meet 50 Louisiana men and women that are all doing the literal same thing of trying to go pro and trying to make it in the sport. Yeah. So I'm very thankful to be here to see that.
I think that's so cool too. I'm glad you mentioned Lacey because we talked to her a couple weeks ago, and hopefully we can get her some time.
Certainly would. She'd love to.
So
she's really cool.
I think that's what's so cool, and her story is even better.
Yep.
Just hearing about what she has been through and just her career as a coach as well. So my point to that is that you've had so many more coaches that are in the state of Louisiana. There's obviously the Chase and Gaines crew that's up in Lafayette and around the Baton Rouge area.
Shout out to Chase Glockner. That's right.
Lacey, of course. There's just so many great gyms around the Louisiana area with so many great athletes. But it begs the question because it does feel like Louisiana has kind of fallen behind in some instances. And most of the time, it's not even the state's fault. It's just athletes that have just gone under the radar in the sport. It is kind of disappointing because I see guys that are on the NPC stage because I was at a competition last month and I was just amazed at the amount of talent that was on there and in just seeing why hasn't there been a pro card just given to them? Like why has Louisiana just kind of fallen behind when it comes to that area when it's home to arguably one of the greatest bodybuilders in Ronnie Coleman?
Yep. It's a great question. I'm glad we can hopefully kind of shed some light on it here. There's no true answer as to why. There's reasons like Louisiana as a whole is one of the least fit states. So in a culture that promotes drinking and eating, right, and partying, it's hard to get everybody involved not only in fitness but really into bodybuilding.
Right.
So you have a very small percent of people who even live in Louisiana that want to pursue fitness. Then even smaller of that are crazy enough to pursue bodybuilding. But as far as the bodybuilders go, we do have some of the best of the best. I mean, Ronnie Coleman, the best of all time, hands down, is from Monroe. Shout out to Kevin. Kevin just turned pro last night at the national show. That's one of Lacey Pruitt's guys.
Boyer Coast from Lake Charles.
100%. These people that are the best of the best, there's nothing wrong, but maybe the attention isn't there because they're not coached by the most well-known people, or they're not on the East Coast. East Coast is very big right now for bodybuilding. A lot of guys, or even in Texas, just 8 hours away, 4 hours away in Houston. The bodybuilding scene there is huge. In Louisiana, it certainly is not small, but you're definitely right, it's underlooked. And a lot of these guys deserve, if not more, some credibility, some recognition for their hard-earned talents. I think it has a lot to do with the people here should support each other more. You know, there's different coaches, different athletes, and there's a bit of not a rivalry, but everyone knows where their camp, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, we're all bodybuilders. Everyone's trying to bodybuild under the same pretense of I want to be a pro and I want to make money doing this. We should all support each other for sure.
Do you think that rivalry has caused for the amount of shows that are being done in Louisiana to kind of go down? Because I know this year we've had one in February, I believe. There's one in May. It's either April or May.
Right.
There was one this past month in July, and then there's the Cajun Expo, which will be in November.
Right. So I went to Bayou Muscle, and I went to my friend Gavin Jenkins. Shout out to Gavin, wonderful bodybuilder, Gavin Jenkins, one of my close friends. And at that show, Richard DeBerry, who also goes here, one of Chase Glockner's athletes, he won that show, did phenomenal. And when I was there, everybody was there from the local scene, but there's such scarcity in the amount of shows. I do think, unfortunately, that there is probably at the higher level a bit of rivalry or competition, because you can't just have your own show. Like I can't just have an NPC show. I have to get it sanctioned by the NPC committee. I have to have the money, the sponsors, the funds. So I might love bodybuilding just as much as he does, but if we don't have the money or the wherewithal or even the basic rights to open a show or to promote a show, you can't have a show.
Right.
So the way it's top down is you have to ask the guy above you, to ask the guy above him, to ask the main guy if you can have a show. Really slows down the amount of shows we have, which is why we have 3 to 4 a year when some states have 10, 15, you know?
And I think that does play a role into that progression of a bodybuilder because you're forcing them to kind of go out of state, go travel long distances, and that sucks because we mentioned this off air. When you have college-age kids that are wanting to get involved in this sport, that's a lot of money that's taken out of their account.
A lot of money.
Shows. You have school you have to obviously miss, you know. And I think when you compare the state of Louisiana, when you compare it to Texas or even a Mississippi, I mean, you have local gyms that are doing bodybuilding shows. We have only 4. They could be doing 4 in a matter of 3 or 4 months.
Easily. And very good point that he made was the amount of money. It's a lot of money to do a show. I mean, it's thousands of dollars. Even if you're natty and you have you go to the cheapest diet, you have no coach, right? You have nothing, and your gym is free. It's still $1,000. The food, just to enter the show, is hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. The pictures after are thousands of dollars sometimes. You get the full package, or hundreds, I should say. It's extremely expensive. So you get young guys that want to do a show that simply don't have the means. So Louisiana is one of the poorest states, but also one of the most unfit. So to go back on your other question, it kind of ties into one big thing of why aren't people bodybuilding? Well, they just don't have the means, you know?
I think that's what sucks too, because
Sucks, man.
Because not only do you not have the means, sponsorships
Oh.
are becoming more and more harder to get to.
Very hard.
Because of the amount of competition. That's just not, it isn't just a state issue, it's a national, it's a global issue.
I couldn't agree more, and I'm sure if you're watching this and you're a fan of the sport, you definitely know that back in the day, right, in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, the way to make money was a sponsorship. These pro shows, say you turn pro after years of trying and you win a pro show, which is already very hard, the most you get is 10 grand. That 10 grand probably didn't even cover the prep it took to do that show.
Right.
So how do you make money as a bodybuilder? It's only through sponsors.
Right.
These companies will pay you to promote their brands. Well, back in the 90s, 2000s, there was 4 or 5 companies, big ones, that would give out $4 grand a month, right, to be on their team. Now it's all commission based, which we talked about off camera. Is you're not really a sponsored athlete sometimes, but you're on commission with them. So you get a code for 10% off. You can push it. When you have 10 friends that you personally know that are all sponsored by Ecovision or Bucked Up or Raw, whose code do you use, right? Like, how do you give that person your money?
Yeah.
How do you have a favorite? So there's so many guys with so many codes for so many different things. It can be overwhelming on who to support and how to support them, and the money they get might be negligible, you know?
And I think that's where social media comes to play, because you mentioned about Gavin already.
Yep.
I mean, here's a guy that's got over 11,000 followers on Instagram.
Yep.
And he's doing well for himself.
Very well.
I mean, doing really, really good things with his online social media presence. It's just getting to that exposure is going to be much tougher.
Oh, it's
and
so
it's
hard.
harder to make that money, especially knowing the type of cost that comes behind this sport.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, it's so impressive to me that from where we've gone from all the way back 3 decades ago when it was just your 5 major companies, now you have more extra little things that are kind of like subsets of those companies that aren't paying much, that are going to only give you 10-25% of what you sell.
Yep.
And over time, you can build such a great presence, but you can still be at the NPC level within, 10-20 years of trying to do the sport. It's like, God, dog, I wasted 2 decades of my life trying to pursue a pro card, and I'm not even getting I haven't made any progress.
I know so many great guys that are like that are just year in, year out, 20, 25, 30. Now they're in their 30s pushing for a pro card, and I would never discourage you. You know what I'm saying? That's your dream. Never give it up. I would never advise that. But to what your point is, it must be so hard mentally. And the word I would use is saturation. The market is just so saturated. There's so many pre-companies, so many clothing companies, TikTok Shop, TikTok this, TikTok that. These things that now it's like, do you use my code? Do you use my shop link? Do you use this? Do you buy it through my storefront? It's like, I'm just trying to buy some pre-workout.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And this guy might get $3 when I buy it. But my friend Kai Levine, Lav Lifts on Instagram, he's sponsored by Ecovision, Breathe Divinity, a few really big companies. He makes thousands, or he has. It varies, right? He might do a great month, bad month, great month, bad month. That can be really stressful for somebody. Right. Back in the day, you got $4 grand a month to be on their team. Mm-hmm. Now it's commission. If you don't sell, you don't make, right? So if you drop out of college to be a bodybuilder, which guys used to do, they quit their job, drop out. In this economy and with the way it is now, you drop out, and then suddenly social media shuts down, TikTok shuts down, whatever. It's over for you. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting a salary. You're on commission. You don't sell, you don't make. So it's really hard for these young guys like Leandro out there who don't have the recognition that they definitely deserve. Some of these guys have pro caliber physiques that have 100 followers on Instagram. Yeah. How can that be happening, you know?
Mm-hmm. I do want to touch on social media just briefly.
Absolutely.
Because I think that the rise of the fitness culture on social media has evolved so much over the last decade. We've seen a lot of guys that have come through. Chris Bumstead, obviously, is probably the biggest one of them all.
The biggest, hands down.
My question to you is, Holden, the steroid epidemic. I have noticed, especially over the last year or two, we've had more kids that the typical age to start gear, from what I've learned, is probably between 25 and 30 years old.
Yep.
And we are seeing guys as young as 14 on social media.
I know plenty.
That are starting to take gear. Like, what goes through one's mind to say, hey, I want to start taking gear, but my brain's not fully developed yet?
I am very glad you asked that question. It's probably my most favorite that I want to touch on is I know personally people that are 14, 15 taking gear. I know them, and I've advised against it, of course. For the record, I am not anti-gear at all. I think gear should be legalized. I think it's over-demonized and over-hated. It just can be overused, and then bad things happen, like any drug, of course.
Yes.
But gear used to be a thing that you took in the 20s. It was it was like a quiet thing. You asked the biggest guy at your gym, hey, where can I get some tests, right? And it's like a big thing. Now, you can buy it online from anywhere.
Yes.
I mean, there's so many places that buy it legally or illegally now, and it's worded very vaguely. But there's young guys that, trend twins, and these guys that are 18, 17, 19, taking steroids, tattoos, fast cars, girlfriends, whatever. They want to live that life, and they think that gear is the missing piece.
Right.
Why am I not in a Corvette with a young girl and I'm not jacked? Oh, I need to add tests. It's like, that's not the case, guys. If you're watching this and you're considering it, if you don't have a good diet, a good training, and a good headset, like you said, you're not developed. At 14 years old, you can't even drive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have a permit. You can't go anywhere by yourself. But you want to put things into your body that will forever change the way your body behaves. You're altering your chemicals in your body. You're going to have imbalances, and you can get so many side effects that we talked about. There's so many side effects that you can get from taking steroids that at 14 you're not equipped to handle.
Right.
You don't have the money, the means. You can't go to a doctor. So social media has played a huge part in that, in giving young men and young women the idea that the grass is greener on the other side, and the other side is taking steroids, unfortunately.
And I think that also, with that, I think that people don't realize it's a short-term effect that people get from the steroid.
Very.
Sure, it makes you get all these great things that you want in your life, but it shortens your life.
Short term. And of course, there's healthy ways to do it. Let's be real. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's 70-something and he looks fine.
Yeah.
But then you get guys like Ronnie Coleman that are in a wheelchair for life. Is that gear related? No, but the strength that he got from being on gear caused him to squat 800 pounds for 2 reps, right?
Yes.
And he's hurt now forever through various reasons. You can do gear safely, but when you're a pro bodybuilder or you want to go pro, safety is out the window. I think a lot of these young kids now, they want to be a bodybuilder, but they don't know what that means. They want to be C-bum. They want to be classic. They want to be lean and shredded and take peptides and do all these things that are new and fun and like kind of edgy, right? It's cool to take steroids. It's bad. It's not cool. It's not bad. You're severely harming yourself. And if you don't know the risks, you should never take anything or do anything without knowing full stop the awful things that can happen if you just do them wrong, or even if they're right and your body reacts. You're out of luck.
Yeah, and I think that you brought up a great point in that as a whole, because I'm glad you brought up Ronnie Coleman, because here's a guy that if you're an IFBB pro at that stage, you're getting the best of the best in the business. You're getting your coaching,
Yep.
You're getting your proper doctors
Yep.
that are doing your blood work.
Infinite money, pretty much.
But when you're a teenager and doing this, you have no idea. You're
No.
You're blasting through the gear nonstop with for some cycles it'd be 4 weeks on, 1 week off, and you're back on it over and over, and
Yep.
it's just killing your body
Yeah.
inside.
The common cycle is between 12 to 20 weeks, depending, about 5 or 6 months. Then you do a cut. So some guys go on, and I'm not talking about pros. If you're a pro, this is not for you, right? You're an adult. I know 16, 15, 17-year-olds that are blasting and cruising, they call it, which is going on, coming down, going on, coming off. My advice is you only can take steroids for so long. The later you start, the longer you can do them, right? As a rule of thumb. So if you're 15, let's say for some reason you're a miracle and you get 20 years of steroid use, you're done at 30, right? Some guys don't start until they're 30. Now you're jacked and lean and healthy into your 50s. Do you want to start now at 15 and be done by the time you're 25, 30, when other guys are just starting it?
Right.
And now you're like the, kind of saggy, whatever, wrinkly, pimply guy that's 25 who had a great high school where you were jacked and you were the leanest guy, but for what? Just to be the biggest guy at the the 8th grade pool party or like the high school prom, you know what I'm saying? It's not really worth it unless your goal is to go pro or to separate yourself from others. If you just want to be jacked and lean, I promise you can do it on your own. I promise you can. We've seen it time and time again.
Yeah, and that's where the rise of these natural influencers are coming in. Will
Yep.
Tennyson is one of them. Justin
Huge.
James West.
Huge.
Guys that have great followings. They do the proper way of doing bodybuilding.
Yeah, naturally.
Even if they are on a cycle, because let's just be honest, Holden. You and I are pretty certain, because when I looked on the stage, I'm sure at least one cycle was done.
They're lying.
Yes.
And that's the unfortunate truth, is that these natural shows, like my friend Leandro, right? In a minute you're going to interview him. I know for a fact he's natural. I bet my life on it. My friend Kyle Levine, bet my life on it that he's natural. I know for a fact. I'm not wrong. These guys look phenomenal. They look phenomenal. You wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it if I didn't know them. So that kind of changes your view. Once you know a guy that looks jacked and lean and is natural, nowadays it's anybody that's lean, big, gear, and I'm not that way, so he's a cheater and I should take gear too.
Right.
You're so right. Don't do that. Like, you don't have to behave that way, and you certainly don't have to sell yourself short. These natty influencers like TNF, right? All these EchoVision guys that are natty and they're lifting, one cycle or not doesn't change. Their lifestyle that they push. Like Trend Twins is the opposite. Take gear, be jacked, lift heavy, take caffeine 4 times a day and do all these things. That's the wrong lifestyle if you're 15, 16, 17, in my opinion. These TNF guys that promote natural lifting and taking care of yourself for longevity, that's the way to go, in my opinion.
I think that's very true. You know, and over the course of this interview, Holden, I've seen your enthusiasm for this gym, your enthusiasm for bodybuilding. When people walk into the Ponchatoula Fitness Center, what is one thing that they want to know whenever they walk in here?
I cannot stress to you enough, if you learn nothing from this interview and for some reason you're only watching this part, if you're looking for a reason to join Ponchatoula Fitness or to come check it out, you are more than a number here. We offer far more than these commercial gyms, the bigger gyms that are closer to school and in the area. We offer more in the simple fact of we care about you. I will learn your name. I know every member's name that comes in here. We have hundreds of members. I know all of their names. I know their stories, their families. They know my name. I'm here all day, every day, and if I'm not, somebody is. We all care about you. We have no annual fees, no contracts, none of that stuff. If you don't want to stay here, we don't want you to stay here. If you want to go, we want you to go. But if you want to come and be welcomed and have a family, a real community of real lifters, there is no other option than Ponchatoula Fitness Center.
Wow, that's good stuff. And
thank you very much.
For those of you that are watching, Ponchatoula Fitness Center off of LA 22, pretty easy to find, guys. So Holden, we appreciate it, man.
My man.
Thank you for the interview, man.